Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello. Thanks for hanging out with the table Nate this morning. I saw a video that was really disturbing to me, and I want to talk about it on my live this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. And how do you do? Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, to you. Good morning to you, and how do you do? Good morning. I hope everybody is having a good day, a good time, a good mind, a good life, and I hope everything is good for you on this morning. I want to thank you for joining me this morning, and I do want to talk about so many things in this world, but I'm only going to talk about one thing this morning, and that is violence. I'm going to talk about, oh my God, it was a situation that I saw on a video, and I want to talk about it, and I want you to talk back to me so we both can. Oh boy, it was just really disturbing. So we both can talk about this morning. Okay, I wrote something down here, and I'm going to read it to you this morning. Hello, hey, sweetie. How you doing, sweetie, this morning? I'm so glad to see you. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm hugging you back. I'm hugging you back. Yes, I'm going to read this. Listen, it says, my short talk today is on stop the violence of spousal abuse. I wrote down these words this morning, and I'm going to read them to you. Why isn't the abuser, the man enough to push back or stop the anger that drives him with force to punch his dearly beloved wife, girlfriend, spouse, whatever, in her face? Why isn't the abuser woman enough, because women abuse too, to deal with the anger that causes her to do bodily harm to her spouse? Why isn't, hey cousin, good morning, good morning, good morning. Glad to see you, glad to see you. I'm reading something that I wrote down about spousal abuse. I'll start back up a little bit. Why isn't the abuser man enough to push back or stop the anger that drives him with force to punch his dearly beloved wife or girlfriend in her face? Why isn't the abuser woman enough to deal with the anger that causes her to do bodily harm to her spouse? Because women abuse too, not just men. You just hear about men more often, but you do have some women who abuse one way or the other, whether it's children, sexually, physically. You do have women that also abuse. So I'm not just directing this to men, I'm directing it to people who abuse other people. Why isn't the abuser man enough to turn off the thought of abusing his children? Children are innocent and had nothing to do with coming into this world. Why bring children here in this world to abuse them for your own pleasure? A man slaps his spouse in her face and causes her bodily harm that she mentally never forgets because he isn't man enough to stop his anger. Seeing a man abuse a woman goes deep into the heart of children who are watching. But yet, the man isn't man enough. He can't control himself. He can't control his anger. And he lets his anger control him. Hey, BC, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. I saw a video. This is why I wrote this. I saw a video of a woman and a man who was shopping in a marketplace. It was hundreds, thousands of people around this place, and everybody was shopping, looking at tomatoes and lettuce and fruit, carrots, etc., etc. And they were both dressed really nice. The man was, they were actually dressed like they were going to, I guess, a fashion show or something. They both really looked nice, the man and the woman. When all of a sudden he began telling her to take off her dress. And she began to beg and plead with him to stop. Now, I mean, this woman was terrified. And he continued to demand, take off your dress, take off your dress. I saw this on the video. She continued to say, no, 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 no. But he didn't hear that. All he heard in his mind, I guess, was to continue to tell her to take off her dress. But the more she begged, the more he insisted. I couldn't believe it. He insisted on her taking off her dress in the marketplace. I was like, they got it. This can't be serious. He insisted, take off your dress. She's crying now. She's crying and crying and crying and crying. People began to gather around her, trying to defend her so she wouldn't have to take off her dress. And next thing I know, she began unbuttoning the back of the dress, took the first top button loose of her dress. Then she was slowly backing away from him, but she was still taking off her dress in the marketplace. People looking. Oh my God, it was terrible. She became more and more upset. Then he yelled, take off those shoes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Now the woman standing there in her underwear, y'all. She's standing there in her underwear. People gathering all around her, trying to, not so people couldn't see her nakedness or whatever, or her underwear. People didn't want her, to, I guess, expose her. They were trying to really help her, but he was constantly going. Now he got the dress over his arm, pointing at her feet, take off your shoes. Now she's standing in the marketplace with hundreds of people who are standing around her, looking at this young, beautiful woman with her bra and underwear on and no shoes in the marketplace. I turned off the video because it began to make me feel terrible. I cannot imagine how she felt, because I felt terrible. I felt bad enough to come over here. Hey, Sarah, good to see you. Hey, Sarah Nature. Now you can tell it upset me because I'm making a video about it. Because I felt like this man, if the thought came to his mind to tell his wife, woman, girlfriend, whatever she was to him, to take off your dress, how come he wasn't man enough to say, I'm not listening to that thought? I'm going to ignore this thought and we'll deal with whatever the problem was when we get home. He wasn't man enough to do that. God knows whatever else he did to the woman after she took off her shoes. I had enough. I couldn't watch it. So I know that she was really feeling some type of way. And this is the thing that got me the most. I bet it wasn't the first time he told her to take off her dress. This probably what he do. And why are you with him? Why are y'all still together? If this is what he do, if this is the first time he did that to her, it should be the last. So I'm hoping that this woman, I don't know if she's still with him or not. And I ain't trying to tell her what to do, but I don't understand why she went through this in the marketplace, because she know how he was when she went shopping. Okay, let me calm down. Okay, let me finish reading my little thing when I wrote. Now, a lot of things went through my mind, and one of them were, has he ever done that before? And if so, why was she still with him? For some reason, when a man begins to get angry, why isn't it, or a woman, no matter, why isn't the man or woman enough to stop the anger? For some reason, the anger controls them and they cannot stop it. How could he get so angry with the woman that he makes love to day in and day out, or whenever they make love? I know he done made love to her before. How could he raise his hand up to her to try to disfigure this woman's face? And I'm sure the fighting fight was going to come next with his hands. This is the same woman who loves and adores him. Where is his power to control himself when it's necessary? He's unable to control himself and wonders why he's alone when he gets old. There's a lot of old abusers that's still alone. They're in their 70s and wonder why they're lonely. Don't nobody want to be with them. And they forget all about their past life, what they did and who they did it to, and why they in the situation that they're in. They sitting in a nursing home somewhere wondering why they're in a nursing home and nobody come visit them. It's crazy. Because people do wrong all their young life, and when they get old, they sit there and reminisce about what they used to do. I didn't talk to them, that's why I know. Now back to the people that was in the marketplace. I wonder, has he asked her to remove her dress before in public, as I said earlier? Or was this the first time? And if this is the first time, It should be the last time, because she should never be around him anymore. Once is enough of this uncontrolled situation. I can't imagine how this how this young lady felt. I can't imagine the fear that was gripping her heart as this man continues to yell, "Take off your dress." I tried to figure out what made him want her to take off her dress in a place with thousands of people walking around. I thought that maybe other men might have been looking at her, and perhaps jealousy took a hold of his mind, which is another problem a lot of men have these days. These men cannot control their own minds, these abusers. They allow outside thoughts to control them. They are not man enough to grab those thoughts by the tail and toss them out of their minds. They actually act on it. Certain things that your mind will tell you to do, you got to control and say, "No, I'm not doing that." They allow these thoughts to taunt them day and night because they are not big enough, man enough to tell these thoughts to stop. So for years, for years and years, they listen to these damaging thoughts, and before you know it, they have lost the woman of their dreams. One thing I must say about a woman is that she will allow her man to listen to these thoughts that makes him uncontrollable and out of ignorance. And she will put up with his abuse because she allows love. She allows love to pour forth out of her heart while he's pouring anger out of his heart. And he abuses her. And no matter how much he abuses her, women stay with men for years. They have busted nose and busted lips, and repeatedly he hitting on the same face, the same lips, the same nose. Some nose has been broken because these men cannot control the thoughts of not to abuse their wives. And women continue to love. No matter what he do, she still fixes food. No matter what he do, she still washes clothes. No matter what he do, she loves him. And always have in her mind, which is deceiving, he won't do it again. And when he do it again, she say he won't do it again. He won't do it again. And he does it again, and he does it again, and he does it again. These women stay with these guys 14, 15 years, getting their nose busted, eyes black. It's crazy. I don't understand it. I'm going back to where I was reading that. It says she will put up with this. She will put up with his abuse because she allows love to pour forth out of her heart and be abused by her spouse for years before she leaves him. I have heard of women being hospitalized from her abuser. Women stay for many different reasons. I have a girlfriend. Well, I had a girlfriend years and years ago. Me and her grew up together, went to school together. She loved this man. He was breaking her arm, knocking her teeth out, pulling off her dress, telling her she can't go out. It was crazy. I said, you need to leave him. You need to get away from him. She said, I can't leave because he's a good provider. I said, you got to be kidding me. I can't leave because he's a good provider. Okay, now she stays and stays and stays. One day she goes to a meeting. He comes to the meeting. Ask her, can she come outside? When she go outside, he shoots her in the head with a shotgun and shot himself. But she couldn't leave him. He was an abuser. He was a good provider. And she lost her life. It's a whole lot of women that love men to death. They love them to death. They love them so much till they just can't get away from them for whatever reason. Ain't all the money in the world. Somebody break your arm, you'd be like, oh my God. I mean, I can't imagine it, but he broke an arm. It was crazy. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll go back to reading. I keep getting off my reading. I'm sorry. But she, okay, where I said a woman stayed for many different reasons, but she's always by her spouse. She sticks with him through thick and thin. If something happens to him, she is always there for him. Her abuser can stab her, and she's always there for him. Her love for him grows deeper and deeper. No matter what he does to her, her love still continues to pour forth. The abuser must be man enough to control the violent thought that is controlling him. That goes for women also who ponders on violent thoughts. and carry them out and abuse their spouse. One day I seen this man. This man who was being abused, or men who are being abused, they really tell others that their spouse is abusing them. This is my very first short talk live, and I just had to bring this up, about this abuser thing, because it really got on my nerves. And I know a lot of women are still being abused. I remember one time I was on a bus. This was years ago. This man was sitting in the back of the bus. Everybody done got off the bus. He the only one on the bus. So I'm saying to myself, why in the world is this man still on the bus? Everybody else done got off the bus. I look at him. He said, "Miss, I don't want to go home." He said, my wife is going to beat me up when I go home. I said, what you mean? He said, she beats me up and I don't want to tell nobody. I don't know how to tell my friends or my family that I'm being abused. That abuse thing, it goes both ways. It's horrible. I don't know how these people will ever stop abusing each other, but it seems like to me it's getting worse, worse, and worse. All right, that's really the end of my little short story, my little short talk. I had to get on here and talk about that this morning. What you think about my talk, my cousin? What you think? Hey, Mr. Rance, how are you? How are you? How are you? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Yeah, it's crazy. My goodness. All right, I'm gonna stop my live, and as I sing my little song again, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna get off my live. I feel like I'm on the telephone. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, and how do you do? All right, I'm gonna sing my little song, and then I'm gonna go. Am I my brother's keeper? 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 See y'all. Love you. Bye-bye.